into these stores crowded, elbow to elbow, where you shouldn't be around, supposedly, if you're that panicky, but they'll do it to get toilet paper. It just boggles my mind.
I don't know. Again, I've seen the videos of like Costco. I've seen them at Walmart. People fighting over the stuff. There's one part, it shows they opened up a pallet at Walmart. And this nice little old lady, well, I don't know if she's nice, but she was a little old lady anyway, grabbed one package of toilet paper. And this big woman just yanks it out of her hand. And the lady ended up with no toilet paper because you know what? By the time you counted to 20, 30, that whole pallet was gone. That's how much the people were panicking. They weren't buying one or two. They were buying 10, 15 packages at a time. This one lady wanted to grab one. And somebody was so thoughtful, they just grabbed it out of her hand.
That's terrible. That's like the video you sent me. I think maybe that's the one you're talking about. But the one lady had so many of them bales of toilet paper that it was like 3 times as high as her cart. And she took the one from that, like, I don't know if that's the same one, but she took it from that lady. And the lady she must have had, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 bales of these toilet paper. And she wouldn't let the lady have the one she wanted. I never seen greed like that before. But that leads to another thing I've talked about a little bit yesterday, and that is, what would happen if the government actually did come out and say, yeah, aliens been coming here, they've been abducting people, they're going to be here, they're going to really be a bigger part of our lives and all this stuff. How would people handle that?
They wouldn't. That's what I've been saying for how long now? Okay.
Oh, I know.
Since I came, out of retirement, how many years? I'm back almost 3 years now. And what have I told people? They would panic. They wouldn't handle it. Now I have all these experts that come on my show, right? And they say, no, the people would just accept it. They're not, very few would panic. If people freak out like they're doing over toilet paper, you trying to tell me they're not going to freak out if the government announced that people have been going missing because they're being abducted, and we don't know what's happening to them, but we know that they're never going to return again. Duh. If you think people freak out over not being able to get toilet paper, what are they going to do when they hear that?
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm not pro-military and government and all this to the point of being secrecy and being conniving and all everything, but there's some things I just think it's better off that we just don't know everything, because that's a perfect example, man. I could just really turn the economy and the environment and people really ugly really fast, because you just don't know how they're going to take that. And the thing is, I'm sure the military, government, or whatever, have studied this in detail with psychology of the human psyche, and I'm sure that they did algorithms and all this stuff, and they know overall where probably the highest percentage of the population, how they're going to act. If not, they would tell us everything, I'm sure. But the thing is, I just don't think that as a whole we would take it very well. Even though 300 million people or plus in this country, if just a third of them panic like that, well, that's 100 million plus people going crazy. So that's a lot.
Well, here at one of our local stores, example, not toilet paper, but got gallon water, jugs of water, distilled drinking water came in, right? Because this is a major chain. It's across the country. They were totally out of water. Okay, so a semi-truck delivers it, pallet after pallet. And as soon as they would bring a pallet out, it was gone. And from what my wife told me, she was there, people were doing the same thing. They were getting like 10, 15 of these gallon containers in their shopping carts. Some people had 2 or 3 people with them with shopping carts, filling them up with gallon jugs of water. And they were yanking them, again, out of other people's hands. Like somebody would grab one, they just yank it right out of their hand. If people don't care about other people, that's a perfect example why people don't. To sit there and yank something out of your hand and take it away from you when you physically picked it up first, right? But they want it, so they take it from you. And what are you going to do about it if they're bigger than you?
Yeah, and the sad part is, like that video I seen that I think you sent me, the lady, she already had like 6, 7, 8, I'm talking bales of these toilet paper. Like these things are 3 by 2 foot and 2 foot. I mean, they're huge. And she had 6, 7, 8 of them. And she was ready to fight and took it right out of that other older lady's hands and was ready to, it's like dog eat dog.
Was that the one that had her daughter with her too?
I think so.
Yeah, she had, I heard, if you listen to the video, the guy kind of intervenes and stuff and says, you're not getting any, and he calls the police towards the end on a cell phone. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She had 15 packages of 16 rolls.
Wow.
You know how many rolls that is? 15 times 16? That's enough toilet paper to last a family for months.
Oh, yeah. And it just really makes, it just gives me a bad feeling to see that there's that just self-indulging evil people that don't have a heart to let that older woman have at least one of them bales. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody is getting, when they panic, okay, a lot of people, they think of one thing, themselves and their family. So they have this motive. I don't care about you. Well, you got something in your hand. I need it. I want it. I'm taking it. Again, I like I always said, if the power goes out, the grid system goes down for 6 months to a year. And you were one of the fortunate people that was smart and had maybe like 10, 15 gallons of gas. And you had a generator. And you're the only one running that generator off and on during the day. How long do you think you're going to have that generator? You aren't
not long at all.
No, because somebody, it's not very loving, is going to hear that generator. They're going to come and investigate where that generator sound is coming from. And they're going to realize, well, gee, this guy has frozen food. This guy has all this canned goods and has a generator, and they're going to take it from you unless you defend it. That's how people's mind thought is when in a situation they get thrown into. People change. So when I hear these people that, oh, they're so loving. No. I when I was in the Army, some of the most loving people, when I first met them in basic training, the most loving, caring people, after they went into a battle or got sent over to wherever, right? They changed. Okay, they weren't that nice, beautiful, kind, loving person that gave off orbs anymore.
No, and I've said before that if you want to know what's going to look like if the power grid went out and we're out electricity for a month, 2 months, 3 years, or whatever it is, just watch a few episodes of the what's that show with The Walking Dead? How people, like you say, with food and that has a generator, they become a beacon in the night to the people out there that are do whatever it will take, cut your throat for a bottle of water. So you got that. They're going to take, and they're going to kill you for it, which is bizarre, but that's what happens. Watch them episodes. I mean, it's dog eat dog world. They don't care. They want to get what they want and take what they want. And that right there, if you got 300 million people doing that, that is recipe for a lot of deaths.
Well, I'm thinking right now, if the government doesn't get a control, and fastly get a control under the economy, either by eliminating the payroll tax, giving breaks to business, and trying to help everybody at this point, if they can catch it in time, we won't go into a deep recession. We're going to go into a recession no matter what now. This is the start of it. And if you don't think so, then I don't know what you've been drinking. But I'm telling you, we are going into one. There's no way we can stop it now. The dominoes are starting to get ready to fall over. They're like this at the 3/4 of a, being level, and they're ready to drop and then knock the next one over the next one. So I got a funny feeling if the government doesn't do something by probably Thursday, it's going to get really scary out there. And if you think these people are just being unkind when it comes to, like toilet paper and stuff like that, what is going to happen when they go crazy? And that's what's going to happen. I mean, let's face it. What's the next thing? If it isn't toilet paper, it's water. What's next? It's going to be canned goods. It's going to be everything. People are going to hoard, and they're going to keep hoarding. It's scary. Well, also, on the website, I updated it today. There is a company here in Washington State. Now, they're doing test runs. You know what? You can be turned into mulch. That's right. Be bio-friendly when you go. Save the cost of, a fancy funeral. Be turned into a bag of mulch. Grow some bread. Your loved ones can grow some red ripe tomatoes.
Yeah, that's good. Your state is the first for all that stuff. Like, I think you can become part of a vase, a swirly vase, compost. I think part of a tree you can become. There was something else, too, they can make you into. I don't know if it was diamonds or something, but that is one outlook. It's another way to go. And I do know that Tennessee's got a thing now where you can use no embalming fluid, casket, or anything. They're calling it the real old school burial.
No, what? You know what? At a certain age, why do you have to have a autopsy done? I mean, if you're in your 80s and 90s, I guess people commit, murder and stuff at people those ages. But you know what? Again, a lot of stuff is done. What's it going to accomplish? Okay, you embalm somebody, okay, because then people for 3-4 days can come and visit the body and stuff like that. When you're dead, I hate to say it, you're gone. For years, I told my wife, I don't want to be cremated. But now I've made, as I gotten older, why should I be putting the expense on to my loved ones when I go? I mean, average cost of a funeral is $8,000 to $10,000. You can be cremated for like less than $500.
True.
What's the difference, right? Oh my God! You know what? You might not go to heaven because you're cremated. Well, what happens when they put you in a casket? You rot. The worms go in, the worms go out, they eat your guts, and they spit them out. You're dead. You know what? You rot. Okay? And they use these things these undertakers, these mortuaries, make you feel guilty. Oh, you got to buy, you only want the $800 coffin? Well, if that was my mother or my father, I would want them into this nice stainless steel coffin. It's airtight, watertight, and guaranteed for 100 years. And it only costs $4,900.
Only.
Now, if it's guaranteed for 100 years, how do you know 20 years or 10 years after it's in the ground, it's airtight and waterproof? And what difference does it make? They go on the emotions of the people. Oh, do you want that tombstone? Wow, gee, if that was my grandmother, I would get this one. Well, the average fact, when somebody passes on, how often do you go to the cemetery to give respects? Maybe the first year or two, a few times a year. After that, it kind of triples off to whenever. I mean, you're very vulnerable. When somebody dies, they take advantage of you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. They take advantage of your vulnerability. Absolutely right. And you know what? This is just a meat suit that we occupy till we get to the next plane. It's not like you're not going to be penalized for how you treat your meat suit after you're gone. I mean, you're gone. You can't take it with you. And people, like you say, they prey on people's vulnerability and make you feel guilty into spending $9,000-$10,000 when you could get away with $300.
Well, my favorite comedians of all time are two groups. Laurel and Hardy of the Three Stooges, and I don't know, but them two are the top one. And one of the best episodes of the Three Stooges is a law firm called I, Fleeson, and You. That was the three members of the law.